Hello and welcome to today's broadcast. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 tips for women who want to start intermittent fasting, more specifically for women who are in what I call the aging season. So if you are a woman who is frustrated with how your body is feeling or looking as you're going through maybe perimenopause and transitioning into menopause, or maybe you're already in postmenopause like myself, and you want to reverse some of those things. These are the 5 tips that are going to help you be most successful with intermittent fasting. So, welcome again if you're new. My name is Ann Parham. I am actually a fasting mindset coach. I teach women how to manage their mind so that they can be successful not only with intermittent fasting, but anything that they are deciding to do in their life. So, today, I'm going to give you the 5 tips. These 5 tips are focused around the mindset that we must develop in order to be successful with intermittent fasting. I could talk to you about nutrition all day. I could talk to you about protocols all day. But if that doesn't make sense to you and how you're feeling or how you're thinking about your life, trust me, nutrition is the first thing that goes out the door when life happens. So let's get our thoughts straight about what it is that we say that we want to do. And these 5 tips will definitely help you do that. If you haven't already done so, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little bell notification also. That way, when I upload new content, you will be notified. And then make sure that you leave me a comment in today's comment section. I love having conversations with all of you in the comment section. That's the best place for us to establish a relationship. So please take a second to let me know you're here. My number one and probably most important tip that I can give you today about your success with intermittent fasting is determining your why. Why is it that you are looking for advice on intermittent fasting? What is it that's going on in your life that you're not happy with that you think intermittent fasting might help you with? For me, it was being diagnosed as a pre-diabetic woman in my late 40s and me feeling like my brain was starting to decline on me, not being able to remember very basic things in my life, including my son's own name or where I parked my car when I went out grocery shopping. So my why was very serious very quickly. My why statement was I was intermittent fasting to save my life, and I fasted in that exact way. I got down and dirty really quickly. I fasted 20 hours clean and feasted very nutritiously for about a year until I reversed all of the things that were ailing me. If you get down and dirty with your own personal why, very quickly, I promise you, intermittent fasting will be a very amazing journey for you. You will reap amazing results from it, and you will learn so much about your body. If you don't do this mindset work and you don't figure out your why, then I promise you, when life happens or things get stressful or you have a little bit of a pain point on your journey, you will walk away from intermittent fasting before you have the opportunity to reap the results or the rewards from it. So, do a little mindset work. Make sure you determine your why. Make sure you have a solid foundation for why it is you want to make these changes in your life and why it is you want to create a lifestyle for yourself. Tip number 2, choose a fasting protocol that matches your why. There are lots of different protocols out there. A fasting protocol is just basically the amount of time that you spend in a fasted state and the amount of time you stay in a feasted state in a 24-hour period. That's all the protocol is. But what we want to make sure is that we're picking a protocol that's going to get us the results that we're hoping for in probably the quickest amount of time so that we can feel the win from the choices that we're making. So what I did when I was practicing my intermittent fasting in the beginning is I played with all the protocols until I found the one that made the most sense for what it was I wanted to undo or reverse in my own body and a lot of the body chemistry and hormonal changes that were going on. What I ended up landing on was a 20-hour fast and a 4-hour feast. So if you are a woman who is suffering from a lot of things that are very common for women going through hormonal and chemical changes, which is the backup in our system from years of just over storing nutritional choices that we made, the 20-hour fasting protocol is probably the one that is most effective and efficient for us women. That's just because it allows us enough time in a fasted state for our body to utilize what we have in storage before we create a new feasting experience. So choose a protocol that matches your why so that you will emotionally, mentally, and physically reap a reward that makes you feel like a win, which will keep you on track with this intermittent fasting lifestyle. Okay, my third tip is to implement a fasting window that is a clean fast. Again, lots of information out there that can be very confusing to us women who are specifically trying to undo something that's going on with our body because we are having a season of hormonal and chemical changes going on with our body that a lot of people aren't talking about. So you'll hear a lot of information out there about how many calories you're allowed to have in a fasting window, or what kind of things you're allowed to have in a fasting window that won't break your fast. Depending on why it is you're fasting, that information may be true. But if you're fasting because of the backup that's going on in your body, or because of the hormonal and chemical changes that happen with perimenopausal and menopausal changes, then you really need to stick to a clean fast until you reverse all of those things that are ailing you. So there will be a point where clean fasting might not be as important, but if you're a beginner, I highly recommend sticking to that clean fast. By definition, a clean fast is just water or black coffee or some sort of untainted tea. So nothing in a tea that's a sweetener, nothing that's a tea that has any kind of flavors or anything, just a basic tea or a basic coffee. This will also keep you in that fasted state that will allow your body to utilize all of those things that are in a backup. So, clean fasting is the third tip I have for you if you are a beginner faster. It will get you to the results you're hoping for, which is your why, so much faster. My fourth tip is break your fast with nutrient dense foods. There is a philosophy out there about intermittent fasting that if you fast, you can eat whatever you want in your feasting window. And I hate to break it to you, but that is just not true. Maybe if you're in your 20s, or maybe if you're in your 30s, but if you're a woman in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, trust me, nutrition matters. There are a lot of foods that are causing women to have thyroid issues or autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis. A lot of the things that start to ache our bodies as we get older are nutrition related and not age related. So it is very important to understand what nutrient dense foods are for you and your body. Very quickly, the three things that I really like women to pay attention to when they're incorporating an intermittent fasting lifestyle and really paying attention to the nutrients in their food are foods with gluten, foods with any kind of soy products, and food with dairy. These seem to be the three categories of nutrition that are causing us women so many problems as we start to age. So please make sure that when you are getting ready to enter into your feasting window, however many hours you've decided in your protocol that you are going to have in your feast, make sure that the food that you are choosing will allow you to look and feel your best so that what you're going to do in your next fast will actually feel good for you. What you feast on will determine how well you feel in your next fast. And my last tip, but definitely not the least, is move your body. So many of us, as our seasons in life start to change, become very sedentary and we don't even realize it. This became very obvious to me when I started wearing a fitness tracker and realized that I sit all day and talk about nutrition, and I sit all day and I talk about fitness. And if I don't make a conscious effort to move my body, I live a very sedentary lifestyle. So we want to make sure that we are moving our body. Moving our body creates hormonal and chemical changes for the positive. All of the things that we are trying to do here or trying to accomplish here also have a huge benefit when we move our body. So make sure that you're creating some sort of tracking system or calendaring system, or just make exercise and moving your body a priority. And I promise you, the rewards that you will get from your intermittent fasting, again, will be so much easier for you and feel so much better because you're just utilizing everything that your body is taking in. These are the 5 things that I really focused on when I was incorporating intermittent fasting as the lifestyle that I chose to live just a little over 5 years ago, and I still live today. And I still depend on these 5 things to be my most successful. Now, of course, things like nutrition do matter. Things like knowing what kind of nutrition your body needs to show up as its best, that also matters as well. But if you don't get this part down solid before you start intermittent fasting, trust me when I tell you this because I made these mistakes myself. You will jump all over the place depending on who's giving you advice because you're not thinking for yourself. Determine why it is you want to start intermittent fasting in the first place. Make sure you're choosing a protocol that will help you get to this why as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Make sure that you are clean fasting so you are not undoing what it is you hope to benefit from in a fasted state. Make sure that you are choosing nutrient dense nutrition to fill up your feasting window because that will make tomorrow's fast feel so much better. And then you want to make sure that you are moving your body. Moving your body will help you create the chemical and hormonal changes that you want to make with everything that you are doing here as well. My 5 tips to help you be successful with intermittent fasting as a beginner, or maybe someone who was tampering around with intermittent fasting and maybe didn't stick to it. I bet you never did step number 1. So go back and do this step and then make sure that you're determining why it is that you want to stick with this so that when life happens, you won't fall off the intermittent fasting lifestyle again. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. If you haven't already done so, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't joined my email list yet, all the information on how to do that is included down below. Every month on the first Saturday of each new month, I start a new intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course where I teach you all the things that you need to know about intermittent fasting and some things to consider about your body and how you can decide how you want to age. I would love to see you in one of my future classes.